Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're going to begin a new study today in the Old Testament. I'm going to try to give you maybe a minute or so back this morning. Will not repay all those minutes I stole from you during our study of the Epistle of Jude. We just finished a few weeks ago a long study, many months long study of the suffering servant passage. And after we finish this next study in the Old Testament, the short one that we're going to go to the Gospel of Luke, talk about Luke as a gospel. We haven't spent time in a gospel in a couple of years, really. And man, that's where we should be. And I don't think we've ever done the Gospel of Luke in the 7 years I've been doing these. So we're going to go to Luke's Gospel, which we all love. But we just did a couple of weeks of sessions on the Epistle of Jude. I like to go between Old Testament and New Testament, and so we're going to do a short study, a couple of weeks, in the Old Testament. We're going to the book of Psalms, and we're going to look at the Psalms that were not written by David, who wrote 74, maybe 75, um, or um, or Asaph, who wrote 12, or Anonymous, who wrote most of the rest. Um, there are a few. Let me add them up here. I should have already added them up. 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 that were neither that we have left that were written by someone other than Anonymous, Asaph, and David. Okay, and we're going to look at those psalms. Moses wrote one. That'll be our first, Psalm 90, and Solomon wrote two. Um, the sons of Korah wrote 11. Heman wrote one, and Ethan wrote one, but he co-wrote it. So we're going to look at those psalms that were written by authors, not David, Asaph, or Anonymous, and that's what we're going to be doing. These psalms are so um, important, instructive, inspiring. They are um, um, they're so important, and the two by Solomon and the one by Moses especially really give us a glimpse into the heart of the person who is writing that psalm. We get to know David over the course of 74 psalms. And we get to know Asaph over the course of 12, and the writer of Psalm 119, which is only one psalm, but it's 176 verses. We certainly get to know him. But we only have one by Moses, but it just takes us straight into his heart, Solomon's as well. The sons of Korah, they are professional musicians who participate in the temple service in the same way Asaph was the chorus director of I should say tabernacle service and then temple service, because Korah and Asaph date back to the days of David, and then their children, because they're both Levitical families, and their children then they have a family trade, which is the musical trade. They make music in the house of God. David established all that. So the sons of Korah, they it's almost like saying the Bach family. There was one great Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, but he had a father and brothers, and he had uncles, and he had children, all of whom composed. In fact, local composers, during the 17th and early 18th centuries in Germany were often just called Bachs. It almost became a word like Cooper means a barrel maker. So the sons of Korah are in the family of Korah, who are musicians, tabernacle temple musicians, and we have 11 psalms from that family. So that's really cool. We don't really know anything about Heman and Ethan much, other than what we have from their psalms, and hopefully we're going to benefit from those psalms. There are 150 psalms in the psalm book. They're arranged in 5 sections. Each section begins with a wisdom psalm and ends with a praise psalm. And the entire book of Psalms begins with the ultimate wisdom psalm, Psalm 1, and with the ultimate praise psalm, Psalm 150, in which every verse begins with the word hallelujah. Um, and we're going to be looking at those few that are written by these named authors. We'll start with Psalm 90 next time. Thank you for joining me for what is now 5.5 good minutes with the Word. See you next time.